Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Neo. Just getting started in this video, showing you a quick removal process, or some of the removal process of this really cool fun set that we did on this client. She is coming in for a redesign. I like to show just a little bit of the removal process just so you can see what it's kind of like when clients come back in. She's had this set about a month and it wasn't, significant growth, but I just wanted to show what that process looks like. So I'm going in with this 5-in-1. It's a 2x course, I believe, bit, and I'm using my Coupa Me file, and I've got my Young Nails dust collector, as you can see down below, and I have my speed on my e-file all the way up at 35,000 RPM, and this bit is doing great. One thing that I'm always talking about on my channel is laying down a base of clear acrylic, and this is exactly why. When clients come back in, 9 times out of 10, they're filing down and reapplying new extension on top of the existing tip that's already there. If I haven't applied a clear acrylic layer, I'm gonna potentially file down to their natural nail, possibly hurt them, and it just causes more work for me. Or they would have to pop them off, which obviously we don't recommend, or soak, and that would just take forever. So this is a key benefit for me in terms of laying that base clear acrylic layer before doing any type of design, because as you can see, I'm filing through this design, which was super fun and cool. I had such a good time. It totally kicked my butt to do all of these different hand designs, but this set looked really cool and it was super trendy. I feel like everybody was getting these nails, is still getting these nails, so definitely check out this video because it was a good one. But yeah, I'm just going in with this 5-in-1 bit. I am removing all of the colored acrylic that I can see, and you're slowly going to see that clear layer of acrylic peeping through. You're going to see her natural nail coming through, and this is basically what I'm doing. In terms of the Young Nails dust collector, I feel like it does a fantastic job at collecting dust, but it is not 100% like, collecting every speck of dust. As you can see, my hand, my left hand is like significantly covered in the dust, but I think it's just because that's the direction that the bit is spinning in, but it does a great job. If you know of another portable dust collector, I know that Ombre came out with one, but it looks exactly the same as the Young Nails one, just black. That might be cool just because it's black. But if you know of a dust collector, and I already have the McCart one, I've been using that for about a year. If you know of a portable dust collector that's better than this one, let me know, because I'm totally into them and I think that they're fantastic. But yes, I'm removing all of the colored acrylic, and you can basically see her natural nail now. I like to file all the way until we see nothing. So this is what her nails look like. They've grown out mildly. I've removed any lifting that I see, and we're just getting started with a new set. I'm spraying her down with some alcohol and using a metal cuticle pusher. See, I didn't say medical pusher this time. Metal cuticle pusher to gently push back the skin. I'm taking my time. I'm not using it to scrape the nail bed. You totally can, but I just like to use my bits for that. I'm literally just pushing the skin back slowly to expose any dead skin on that nail plate. After exposing all of that dead skin, I'm going in with my favorite diamond skiver bits. I've got so many of these, and it's my favorite way to begin prep. I'm using it at a very, very low speed, so I basically just turn on my e-file, and this is the speed that comes on. I believe it might be about 3,000 or 4,000 RPM, but there's really no way to tell because the e-file that I use does not have, unfortunately, an LED display or like numbers around the dial. It's just really about feel, but it's a fantastic e-file. I will, and I know I've said this before, like I will do a review on it. I did film an unboxing when I first got it, and that was like 5 months ago. So I have a pretty good idea of, the pros and cons of this e-file, and, can or cannot recommend it to people. So I'll just have to, figure out when I'm going to do that, but I definitely want to talk about that e-file. It's the Coupa Me file. Next, I'm going in with a sanding band. It's a little bit different. I'm using the zebra stripe, so I don't believe it's a fine. This is by Young Nails. They actually had a sale. Was it Labor Day? Look guys, I don't know what the holiday was, but there was a holiday recently where they had like a sale, and I stocked up on the sanding bands and some prep items and things like that. She did lose 2 nails. She said like the day before she was packing for something and they came off, and I was just like, girl, well, this was great timing that you booked your appointment. But I'm using this sanding band to lightly remove any shine and buff the natural nail of all of her nails. So on the 2 fingers that are missing, obviously I'm doing the entire nail. On the nails with the previous acrylic extension, I'm just, as you can see, working on that back portion of the natural nail. And I'm also using this mandrel bit and sanding band to further remove any cuticle and to smooth out the transition from the previous acrylic and her natural nail. Now to replace those 2 bad boys that, fell off, rest in peace, I am using the One Step Coffin tips by the 2 guys. These are fantastic tips. Speaking of tips, I actually just purchased some new tips from Zulay, and I am so freaking excited to try them. Maybe I'll use them on myself first, but they are extra long, no C-curve nails. I think they're a Coffin, and then I bought the 4XL no C-curve stiletto nails. So I'm waiting so badly to just use them on a client or myself. Maybe I'll do a set on myself because it's a set that I'm thinking of doing. But yes, these are the One Step Coffin tips. She likes her nails a little bit long, and as you can see, all I did was snip off a little bit of the tip of that stiletto, and we have a beautiful coffin shape. I, for some reason, always remove my mandrel bit right away. So when it comes to this step of blending the tips, I'm always kind of like, whoops. So I just used the hand file that I had ready for her to lightly, very lightly, because it's an 80/80 grit and you don't want that on the natural nail, just to lightly blend those nails in. So I'm going in with my Mia Secret Dehydrator. I'm just using it because it dehydrates the nail, nothing crazy. And then I'm going in with the Young Nails, the Not Polished Triple X Bond. I've been using it lately. I really like it. Still, I have to wait for clients to come back to see if it, is better than my previous priming system, but I'm enjoying it. It's really, really great. In terms of her refill, like technically this is the refill part of the nail. As you can see, I'm using very, very, very tiny beads of clear acrylic, and I am just backfilling that natural portion of the nail. The whole point is just to cover up the new growth. As you can see, just a small bead, making sure it's nice and tight with that cuticle, and then brushing down over the extension that's already there. And that's technically her backfill. I really enjoy doing that clear acrylic layer. Like I said, you saw in the removal process how easy it was to know when to stop. I didn't compromise the tip. That's why I also enjoy applying that acrylic all the way down the length of the nail, like I'm doing now for these 2 nails that were missing. So it's just a really quick process. It takes like no time. And it also helps because when you prime your nail, the nails are a little bit sticky, and I don't know about you, but I have some fidgety clients who like scratch their face or touch their hair or want to touch their phone. When you have primer on the nail, it's extremely sticky, and you don't want them to move around, get dust on it, make it, dirty, because you'll have to remove it and re-prep. So this also helps me, with those fidgety clients. That way the acrylic is already there. I don't have to worry about them, messing up my priming system. There's just so many benefits to it. But yes, that's what I'm doing just here. And I forgot to mention that this is a not full, but mostly a not polish set, which is why I went in with the not polish primer. This is the clear acrylic from Not Polish. I'm also using the monomer from Not Polish. Speaking of the monomer, I can't stand that bottle that it comes in. It's like it looks like a hair shampoo bottle with like the little clicky top. I think it's just not productive for like liquid, like water, but I love the monomer, I love the acrylic, and I love the system. So this client always kicks my butt. Like, she comes in, she's very specific about what she wants, and she definitely got what she wanted today. As you can see, we are going bright, we are going neon, and it's so fantastic and cute for summer. This color is by Not Polish, and it is called Cotton Candy. It is a color that I got in a recent haul, I believe. So I will link that video of a haul of acrylics and things that I purchased for summer. It's funny enough because right after that haul video I posted, I actually purchased like way more crap. So I was like, should I do another haul video? It would be a little bit redundant. So I didn't post it, but I do have some more brand new acrylics that I would love to share with you guys, but just didn't film it. But yes, this is Not Polish, not Wicked, Cotton Candy, and it's a super neon, super bright, pigmented acrylic, hot pink, perfect for summer. And I'm applying that on the tips of all of her nails except for her middle finger. On the pointer and ring finger, we're gonna do something a little bit different, but we're going for a 3-color ombre today. And I was telling her, like, I would never have thought to do these 3 colors in particular, but they were just so fantastic. They blended like butter. It was just so neon and perfect for summer. I was just super, super excited. So I'm just gonna focus on these two nails, the thumb and the pinky, just for a little bit because they're like the super simple nails. And I thought that it would just be really easy to kind of just get that ombre on there so we can get like a visual of what the set is gonna look like. This next color that I'm ombreing is also by Not Polish. It is called Wicked Mind. So this is one of those colors that I purchased after my haul video, and it's a super intense neon orange, and I'm just blending that over that hot pink, making sure that we have a really beautiful transition. If you watch my channel, you know that when ombreing, it's not necessarily like you can get it done in one step. You do it in as many beads as possible. I even like to back swipe. So sometimes if I feel like I'm losing out on one color versus another with an ombre, I'll just go back in with the previous color and with a super wet bead and a wet brush, kind of back swipe and back swipe forward and back, I can't even speak, my goodness, to make sure that we get a really simple and smooth transition to the ombre. This third color is actually Not Polished. It's by Valentino. So this is also in that haul. You know what, just watch that whole video. This is number 180, and as you can see, the ombre, guys, is delicious, just beautiful, from that bright neon orange to the more hot orange to that hot pink, and it was totally giving me like Miami vibes. I was telling her like this would be fantastic if you just let me put like black palm trees on this. It would be so beautiful, but we didn't do that. And I'm gonna do the same thing on her thumb. Just really, really gorgeous neon ombre for summer. So for the pointer and ring finger, as you can see on my table, I've got some little pieces of sparkly bits down there. That means they're going in the nail. She wanted butterflies. So this was from a reference photo. She came in with the photo and she wanted the nails to be almost identical. That's always really difficult when you have a client who's just like, this is what I want, make it happen. On one hand, it's like, oh crap, like I gotta set my game up. But on another hand, like your client trusts that you have the ability to kind of recreate designs that they're interested in. So I'm using really small, tiny wet beads of clear acrylic to adhere these iridescent and neon butterflies to her nail. This is a really great reason also in terms of applying a clear base. If I did not, and I had gone straight in with these butterfly pieces on her natural nail, can you imagine the hell it would be to get these off when she comes back in for a redesign? Like, oh boy, that would be so tough. That's why I'm always like, when I see people applying like glitters and things like that directly to the nail, I'm always kind of like, so when they come back, like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna file down all the way to the natural? It just freaks me out. So I'm just applying these butterflies randomly. We've got some neon pinks, we've got some hot pinks, like holographic hot pinks, we've got like soft yellows, deep oranges, just, you know, imitating the same colors that we use in the ombre as best we can. I didn't have all neon butterflies. Matter of fact, I should just buy some because you never know, right? I'm always kind of like, I don't have this thing, let me just buy it just in case. And then it always turns out that people come and want the thing anyway. But yes, I am using super wet beads of that same clear acrylic to basically cover her nail plate. The base of these nails are going to be butterflies, and then we're actually going to ombre the same ombre in a French design around it. So instead of a nude nail bed, we're just gonna have butterflies down there, which I thought was so different and cool. I'm gonna do the same thing on the pointer finger that we're doing now on the ring finger. So when I saw the reference photo, my mind immediately went to doing like a reverse French with the butterflies, but after doing it, I was just kind of like, I don't really feel like going in clear, building up a nail bed, filing it, and then doing an ombre around it. So this is totally a cheating way to do that. As you can see, I'm starting off, it's gonna be the same ombre that we did on the other two fingers, but I'm starting off with the neon bright, like the lightest color, and I'm building a fake nail bed area around and on top of those butterflies. So I'm using extremely, as you can see, extremely tiny beads of that acrylic. I'm placing them in that kind of almondy shape that I want the nail bed to be in, and then I'm using my brush to kind of mold that acrylic over some of the butterflies. Like I'm totally covering some of those butterflies in order to create that nice nail bed almondy shape, and it kind of worked. I was just kind of like, oh, I didn't think this was gonna work, but it totally did. So there's just no rhyme or reason in terms of doing nails. You do what works for you, whatever makes sense in your mind. You know, you can do it that way. I'm sure there's like other ways to do this, but as you can see, we've got a nice kind of almondy shape, and I'm doing my best to kind of make sure that it's centered on her nail, and then we can go in with the ombre like normal, right? So I'm going back in with that super hot pink. This is Cotton Candy by Not Polish. Then I'm going to go in with Wicked Mind, and then do the neon orange again over those butterflies to kind of blend. If I feel like I'm losing one color over the other, again, I'm just going to back swipe with different colors and super wet beads. It's important when back swiping to use wet beads because you don't want the color that you're placing to kind of remove the color that you placed before, if that makes sense. It's just to give you a nice, smooth, seamless transition. I'm going to do this on this finger and on the pointer finger as well. So this is what I was talking about in terms of losing a color in an ombre. That second color, Wicked Minds, I totally lost it in the blending of this lighter orange over it. As you can see, it looks like I'm going from light orange to that hot pink, and I'm just kind of like, nope, don't like that. So I'm going in with Wicked Mind, that darker orange, and then With the wet bead, I'm swiping down and swiping back up, and it gives you see that color just kind of popped through a little bit more. And then you can do that with all three colors. So if you feel like you're losing the lighter, oh, so beautiful, right? Guys, these colors are just so gorgeous for summer. And I told her I would have never thought to do something like this. That's why it's always cool. I just enjoy having different types of clients. Like I have some clients who come in, they just sit down and they don't tell me anything. I do whatever I want. And then on the other end of the spectrum, I have clients like her who come in and they're like, this is exactly what I want. And I'm just kind of like, all right, let's do this. But I'm so grateful because like I would have never thought to do this. And you know, it came out really cool. So I'm doing the same thing here, making sure that we have a nice, beautiful almond nail bed shape over those butterflies. And I'm legit just placing that acrylic over the butterflies wherever, and then using the tips of my brush, or the little bristle tips, I don't know what you call that, to kind of push that acrylic in the shape that I want that nail bed, I'm air quoting, nail bed area of butterflies to kind of be. And then I'm going to focus on that ombre. And as you saw on the ring finger, the ombre came out just so delicious. And now it is time to clear cap. And I know you're probably thinking like, what's gonna happen to the middle finger? Don't worry, it's just gonna be a clear nail, which is why I just waited till this time to kind of do it. So I'm using that, again, not polished clear, to basically build up structure. As you can see, look at her thumb, it's basically like paper, it's so watery thin. These would not last a day in her life. So I am basically building up for structure, building up my apex, and giving her strength on these gorgeous, gorgeous nails so that they can last, right? We saw that her nails last time did a really, really beautiful job. The shape kind of held up, and we're doing the same thing here. So I like to apply a few beads, maybe 2 or 3, depending on like this length of nail. A good like medium to large bead, I like to place it right at that free edge of her natural nail, massage it all the way down, always patting the sides of the nail and using the body of the brush. Always, I'm perpetually swiping the sidewalls. I do not want to warp my shape. And then letting the acrylic kind of set. As you can see, I'm not touching that bead that's kind of folded over for a bit. I think it removes better when it kind of polymerizes just a tiny, tiny bit. I'm always dangling. As you can see, I'm still letting it set just a tiny bit so that when I tap, 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 it's a little bit hardened and then it comes off super easy. There you go. That's the excess acrylic. I'm perpetually patting that material. Yeah, it is material, you know, that acrylic towards the middle of the nail. That's where you want most of that product to be. You don't want to warp your shape, like, for one, because it's just going to cause you more work to do. My second bead is more of a medium-sized bead. I place it right at the cuticle. So I spend a little bit of time making sure that it's nice and tight to that cuticle area. We don't want any gaps, right? Because it's a colored acrylic, and as you saw, I did it paint thin. So if I didn't cover every bit around that sidewall and cuticle area, when I go into file, I would totally just remove the color. So I'm massaging that bead all the way down, and once it gets pretty much past that free edge to the middle of the length of the nail, then I blend into that other bead that we did. If I feel like I need additional beads to kind of clean the surface of the nail, or if I feel like there's any gaps or anything like that, then I'll go in with third bead, like right there. I feel like there was a little bit of a dip in the product, so then I just add a bead and there you go, blend over. And as you can see, the shape is nice and gorgeous. I like my nails to be thin at the cuticle, thin at the sidewalls, and then slowly the apex moves towards the free edge of their natural nail, not towards the back of the cuticle. Everybody does their nails differently. Do what works for you and what you think is aesthetically pleasing. Like, I think this shape looks better, especially, I don't know, just that's what I prefer, so that's what I'm doing. On these I'm air quoting French, these butterfly French nails, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm applying acrylic down the entire length of the nail. So that's what I was talking about earlier. If I had gone in and done like a reverse French with like the clear built up that nail bed area, then I wouldn't have to clear cap it. But because we just did it completely flat and I kind of faked that French area, faked the funk, right? I'm just gonna clear cap the entire nail, being very careful, especially around that nail bed area with my second bead, to make sure that I get that product. Anytime you're encapsulating anything, you want to make sure that you are pushing that product up and around all of those pieces, especially these butterflies. They don't particularly lay flat on the curved part of her nails, so you want to make sure that you get everything encapsulated completely. You don't want to have like air bubbles in your nails. So again, I am cleaning my sidewalls perpetually. I want that shape, and if you see the shape of this nail is still maintained, it's super gorgeous, love it, right? Then I'm going in with my cuticle bead. Again, it's like a medium-sized bead, and I like to work this acrylic. So maybe I do work slow, I don't know, but like I was trying the Valentino brand of acrylics recently, and I've just been struggling to really find my flow with those acrylics. I feel like they set really, really fast. As you can see, I placed that bead, I kind of let it sit while I was working around the cuticle area. I feel like there's no way that I could do that. I have to use like smaller beads and multiple beads to kind of, you know, work that product around. But this not polished acrylic is super, super great. Love it. So I'm going to basically clear cap all of her nails. The middle finger is just going to be a simple clear acrylic, you know, application, nothing wild, because it's just a clear nail. And then we're just going to clear cap the rest of the nails. Boom, and with that, we are done with the clear capping. These nails, I mean, the ombre, guys, look so freaking good. I'm going in with my medium carbide bit. This is the tungsten one. I believe it's from a cart. I will link it down below. And I've got my e-file to about a medium to high speed, and we are just going to be surface filing these nails. I love that I do this first before hand filing. It really just has changed my entire nail process. I feel really confident in knowing that I'm going to get a gorgeous shape no matter what, and the nails are nice and smooth so that I don't have to do a lot of hand work in terms of hand filing, because like that's exhausting. It's hot. Like sometimes hand filing, I'm like, damn it, like I'm hot, I'm exhausted, I don't want to hand file too much. So I'm going in with this e-file. I like to go side to side up the length of the nail, then I go up the right side around that cuticle area nice and tight, just to make sure that we are removing any product that is touching the skin, making sure there's a clear separation between the nail and the extension. That's important. And then going down the left side, you'll also see me swipe my thumb occasionally down the length of the nail. That's just so if I can, yeah, there you go, I just did it there. If I can feel any lumps, dips, bumps, anything like that on the length of the nail, and then we can just address it with the e-file a little bit after. So I'm going to do the same thing on all of her nails. Once done, I'm going in with that same 80/80 grit that I was using in the beginning of the video for her, and now it's just time to refine the shape and make sure that things are nice and tight. So in terms of filing, especially a longer nail, you can see that I have my pinky braced under the length of her free edge of that nail. If I don't do that, her finger would be wobbling considerably. These are a little bit longer of a nail, and we don't want her to be uncomfortable. So I'm squeezing on the opposite side of the nail that I'm filing, and then just making sure to act as a counter pressure so that it's stable, and then I get a nice, sharp shape. I am going for in between like a tapered square and a coffin for these. Yeah, just making sure that it's nice and tight. I do like to swipe the file up underneath the sidewalls like that. I do get acrylic on the sides sometimes, and then to get a nice crisp free edge shape, I like to go side to side and then squeeze the crap out of that finger and then go up and down. And I feel like that just gives me a nice square, super sharp shape. Love that. And that's done. I sent the client to go wash her hands, but still I'm going in with some alcohol and using a manicure brush to kind of dehydrate, remove any dust, debris, or oils that might be on the nails from soaps, or if she touched her face in the bathroom, anything like that. I just want to make sure that I have a nice surface to work on before we even start anything. So this set is done. I'm lying, it's not done. I'm going in with my Matte It by Not Polish. This is a beautiful just not polished set. Besides that Valentino color, it's a complete not polished set. Love. And I'm going in with Matte It. So she said she wanted these nails matte, and I was like swooning. I was like, oh my God, I love a matte nail. Thank you for choosing matte. So we're going in with a nice coat of Matte It from Not Polish. I'm making sure to give a nice thick coat to the nails. We want it to be nice and delicious, and that I'm not sweeping it over the free edge. I feel like, remove any dust. I feel like if you do that, then you warp the shape that you just worked so hard to file. And as you can see, the shape of these nails came out so pretty. So I am giving all of these nails a nice coating of matte top coat, and then I'm going to have her cure for 60 seconds. But I will be swiping her side walls just to make sure that we remove any excess product that kind of oozed towards the sides of the nail, and then have her cure again. Now that the nails are top coated, it's time to add the special things. So the reason why I top coated first is because we're going to be adding some really cool things on top that I wouldn't have felt comfortable top coating around. So this is a silver, I said gel paint. It is gel paint, right? Silver gel paint by iGel Beauty, and I'm using my favorite, liner brushes that I'm always talking about. And we are going to be outlining these French lines. So I'm using a silver gel paint. We are going to be sugaring this with glitter a little bit later. I'm taking my time and I want to build up a little bit of thickness on this just so that the glitter has something to adhere to. And then before curing, I'm actually going to sprinkle some holographic silver glitter on top so that we have a nice, you know, bit of sparkle on these nails, separating the butterfly nail bed with the ombre. So this is the holographic silver glitter by Recollections. It's a really amazing set. I would suggest everybody getting this. I love that it comes with a little shaker, so I don't have to use too much glitter, and I'm just sprinkling on that wet gel. So I haven't cured the gel, I just had her stick her hands in, and then this is what that comes out looking like afterwards. So I just use my same manicure brush to remove any dust, and we've got beautiful silver lines on those nails. So on the middle finger, we are going to be doing some 3D flowers. So I'm going in with my Zule Bling adhesive on top of that top coat. You totally could have done it a different way. I'm not gonna lie, when I did this middle nail, I wiped off that gel top coat you saw me do earlier and then reapply it, because I was going back and forth in my mind, like, should I do the bling gel method where you do bling gel, then matte top coat, and then stick those rhinestones in, or should I just add the Zule Bling adhesive? And I'm not gonna lie, out of laziness, I just had the Zule. I keep the Zule Bling adhesive on my desk, so it was there. I'm just using it to place different sized stones around the nail. So based on the reference photo, there were some 3D flowers, and she wanted me to copy the pattern exactly, so I was doing my best to do that, just placing crystal AB rhinestones. So I think we have like an SS3, and I'm using an SS5 or 6 on these nails. Anywhere where there's a 6, I'm gonna do a 3D flower. We're just gonna get started with that here. So I didn't worry about using Zule Bling adhesive on top of that matte top coat, because I knew I was gonna be surrounding the rhinestones anyway. Some of the glue did ooze out from under the rhinestones, and because these nails are matte, you don't want that. You kind of want that beautiful matte finish with the rhinestones kind of just floating on top. But I knew I wouldn't have to worry about it because I was going to be applying 3D flowers. So I have this sped up all the way. Trust, this is a very slow process for me in particular, but we're going to be doing some five petal flowers around a few of the rhinestones. So on the back portion of the nail, I'm using a 3D acrylic brush by Panna. I love this brush so much. It's a size 4, so it's really, really small. And I love that it kind of tapers to a point. That way, when you're doing 3D flowers, when you press the center of that bead, the back portion is a little bit wider, so it just kind of presses the petal out. Just really, really lovely. And as you can see, we're getting really, really gorgeous texture on these petals. And boom, it's gorgeous. I'm using Wicked Minds by Not Polish, which was the middle color that we ombre with, and I think it came out so beautifully, especially on this matte nail. You get a little bit of sparkle with those rhinestones, and then the hot orange with the 3D flowers. Just beautiful. So in terms of doing 3D flowers, it's important to make sure that your beads are a little bit drier than you think and have absorbed all of the monomer that they're supposed to. If not, when you go to place the bead, one, if there's still dry acrylic on the back of that bead, it's not going to stick to the nail. You're going to be fumbling around. I know that happened to me a little bit. And in terms of doing petals, you want to make sure that they're really small and a little bit drier. So when you place that bead, you don't want the bead to then be running down the length of the nail. You kind of want it to, like that, just sit where it's placed. And then I'm tapping my brush on my napkin constantly. You want the brush to be really, really dry so that you're not disturbing that bead, and you kind of want the bristles to give texture to your petals. I don't know about you, but I particularly like when the petals have a little bit of like lines in them from the drier brush. So I'm gonna apply a third flower towards the tip of this nail, and because it's a really tiny flower, I brought out my really, really tiny 3D brush. Like, this brush, guys, is so tiny. It's basically like a ballpoint pen. It's still by Panna. It's super, super great, and it's a size 2 Kolinsky brush, guys. Like, it's so tiny, but appropriate for nails like this. So I'm doing another 5-petal flower around this rhinestone at the tip of the nail. And it's the same process, making sure that I'm picking up a bead that has absorbed all of the monomer, placing it, letting it dry, tapping my brush dry on my napkin, and then going in and just pressing out the brush, brushing out the bead. So this one's a little bit harder to do with this brush because, as you can see, it's really, really fine. It doesn't really get thicker at the back, so I have to like move my hand side to side to kind of, you know, spread that petal the way that I'd like it to be. But there you go. I'm placing the bead, making sure that my hand's in the way, but you get the idea. You saw me do it, 2 more times. But yes, Beautiful, beautiful 3D flowers. And this is what the set ended up looking like. So completely done because we already top coated, and I really hope you like it. I've got another shot for you for this set. Super, super beautiful for summer. Tell me what you think about this set. I really, really liked it. And in terms of being challenged by clients, I think it's really great for my growth as a nail tech. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like this video. Like if you like, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.